Hi guys! So today's video is basically for athletes who might be feeling a bit detached from their sport, or they might be feeling a bit anxious that they're losing out on their athletic qualities. So the first thing I want to say is that your personality traits and your qualities are relatively permanent. So even though you might think that you're going to lose out on your skills a little bit, or you're going to be behind when everything starts, again and goes back to normal, you're going to not have enough practice or training, just remember that everybody's in the same boat. And what you're not going to lose out are your personality traits and your qualities. And those are things that are relatively permanent that you've built over time in your life, while you face different challenges as an athlete or just as a person in life. And what that means is that who you are as a person and what your normal traits and qualities are. So if you're somebody who is hardworking, if you're somebody who's really committed and very engaged in everything you do, then those qualities are still going to remain the same. And those qualities are going to be reflected, those traits are going to be reflected in who you are as an athlete. So instead of fearing that you're going to become detached from your athletic skills, you're going to lose out on your athletic skills, just remember that your personality traits are still going to be the same as long as you keep investing in them. What I mean by that is that you use those traits in your everyday life to do other things. So it could be things like learning to play a musical instrument. It could be things like just working on a creative project, just maybe redesigning your room or maybe building something. You could also use those traits in following a new challenge on YouTube, or engaging yourself in some kind of fitness challenge, or just making sure that you're following a routine every single day, because following a routine can be very difficult. And just as you put your commitment, your effort, and how engaged you are in your training, I want you to be engaged in your routine and in doing those other things which will further develop those personality traits and qualities, which you're not going to lose out on, which you're going to really conserve at the end of the day, and use this time to build on those and strengthen those qualities. So when you come back and you're in the same boat, you're out of practice, not trained as much, when you come back, you still are in the right state of mind to join again, to start your training routine, to have just as much commitment, just as much hard work that you're putting into your training, and that will help you to come back faster than other people. So just make sure that you don't give into the fear of losing out on those qualities and those personality traits, because you will not, as long as you keep working on them and developing them by investing in other things that you would always want to do. So there might be things that you always wanted to do, and you never got time to do those things because of a very difficult and heavy training schedule and academics and career commitments. So now is your time to actually invest and commit to those other things that you always wanted to do. And as long as you do them with commitment, with hard work, you are being engaged, you won't lose out on those personality traits and those qualities of an athlete. A lot of the times we think that our athletic personality or athletic identity is very different from who we are in real life, or in our daily life, but it's not really true. Who we are in our everyday life and who we are as a person as a whole is reflected in the sport itself. We express those qualities in the sport. The other thing I want you to think about is how much you're reacting to that fear of losing out on your qualities and traits. What I mean by this is that a lot of athletes might be thinking that they're going to lose out on those, athletic qualities and start training even more, or start doing things which are not really going to be as beneficial to you as taking a complete break, because you can't fully do a training session. You can't fully commit to what you were doing before the quarantine started. So it's very important to think about how you're reacting to that fear and trying to not react to it and respond to it. Because the more you react to that fear, the more you're strengthening it in some ways. Because you're acting out of fear, you're not really using your full potential in doing whatever you're trying to achieve, or achieving in whatever you're trying to achieve. What I mean by this is that you could think that, oh, I'm going to lose out on this skill or that skill, and out of that fear and panic, you might go and practice that skill. but you're not really practicing it to the fullest, because at the back of your head, that fear is still kind of driving that action. And you shouldn't allow that fear to drive your actions. You should allow your good intentions and your intention to achieve something to drive your actions and drive your training and drive your every move in your day. And the more you keep reacting to that fear and allowing that fear to fuel your actions, the more you're turning into a fearful person or a fearful athlete. And you don't want to do that, because when you come back to training normally, you will then be used to acting out of fear. So please do not act out of fear, and please do not react to it. Allow it to pass, and make sure you remind yourself that you're not really losing out. You are really just resting. You are investing in yourself, in other things and other parts of who you are, rather than just being an athlete. And that is much bigger than who you are as an athlete. Who you are as a whole is always bigger than who you are as an athlete. And investing in those other aspects of your life is going to help your sport when your athletic career and your sport when you come back to normal training again. So do not act out of fear. The last thing I want to reflect upon is kind of getting rid of those mental blocks that you had. And what will happen is, during this time, it's a very nice time to reflect on your inner mental blocks. And if you do have mental blocks against certain athletes, certain teams, and mental blocks, even, kind of like self-doubt can be a mental block. So you could be doubting yourself in being able to do certain things. And this is a very good time to reflect on what those mental blocks are that generally kind of, stop you from doing your 100% in games or doing your 100% in training. This could also be a problem of communication with a coach. It could be a problem with feeling a bit out of place with certain teams, because sometimes athletes play with different teams. And it's a very good time to reflect on those mental blocks and really, really deeply think about how you feel about those things. Because it's a really good time to resolve those small issues which you don't get time to resolve generally. And as much as you're trying not to respond to, the fear and react to the fear, you are also trying to kind of find out what are those inner mental blocks, or those inner kind of challenges, those deep challenges that, of self-belief, of feeling out of place, or miscommunication and things like that, that can help you to change that about yourself, and how you can manage that and how you can respond to it. Talking to your coaches about it right now, talking to your other teammates about it right now would be a very good idea. And not just talking about it, but doing something about it, coming up with strategies on how you can manage that situation, that feeling, or that thought. Also allowing those mental blocks to pass away, because really and truly, every mental block is carried by an emotion, and that emotion kind of rises and then it falls away, it goes away. But often when we try to suppress it, it stays there and it builds up, it festers inside you without you knowing, and it just becomes bigger in your subconscious mind. So it's a really good time to think about those little mental blocks, those things that really bothered you when you were playing normally, and allowing them to rise, and allowing them and accepting them, and allowing them to pass away and release those kind of negative emotions right now, because now is a safe time to do that. You have the time, you have the energy to invest in yourself. So the more you invest in yourself, the better you're going to be when you come out of the quarantine and you start training again. And when you come out of it, you will come out stronger, because you've worked on yourself. You've not just reacted to the fear of losing out on things you wouldn't really lose out on. You have actually reflected and introspected on those little mental blocks and little things that were bothering you, and now you've overcome them when you come back. So do think about those things. Try reflecting, try introspecting on those things. Do not give in to the fear. And remember that your personality traits and your qualities will be the same as long as you conserve and you preserve them and you work on them and you develop them. And you can do that by committing yourself to other things in life other than your sport. And you can easily do that. It's not that hard. It's not that challenging. It's only our mind that magnifies the problem to that extent. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, concerns, queries, comments, just make sure you get in touch with me. All my contact details are down in the video below. So hope this video helps you. If it does, please do let me know. I always like to hear about some feedback that I get from my athletes. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and comment. And if you need anything else, just get in touch with me. I hope you have a great week ahead. Take care. Bye-bye.